Hey guys, tonight we're diving into one of the most emotionally explosive trials in recent American memory, where a woman's freedom, a police officer's life, and the power of the internet collide in a story that's still unfolding. Going to witness a cracked taillight become a symbol of guilt. You'll hear text messages that made the internet explode, and you'll enter a courtroom where the loudest voices weren't in the jury box, they were online. Shouting from comment sections. You probably won't survive this one without questioning everything you thought you knew about justice. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. Snow crunches beneath your boots as you step out of the car. It's bitter cold, the kind that stings your face and fogs your breath instantly. Somewhere behind you, a tail light flickers faintly. Cracked open like a wound, you're in Canton, Massachusetts. And it's 5:45 in the morning on January 29th, 2022. John O'Keefe, a beloved Boston police officer, is lying unresponsive in the front yard of 34 Fairview Road. His body is stiff, his clothes wet, his eyes swollen shut. You weren't supposed to be here. Not like this. The house is eerily silent. No one answers the door, not the people inside, not the man whose name is on every uniform around you. You stare at the snow-covered lawn and ask yourself, what happened here? You're Karen Reed, or maybe, for now, you're just someone trying to figure out how a routine drop-off turned into a front-page tragedy. The story starts before the snow, before the blood, before the barrel of theories and internet warfare. It starts with a broken relationship. Karen and John, complicated, passionate, a mix of tenderness and turbulence. Just like any couple that argues, makes up, and repeats the cycle until something breaks at 12:35 a.m. The two of you leave Waterfall Bar in Canton, where John had been drinking with friends. Witnesses say you weren't in a great mood. Tension followed you like a second shadow by 12:40. You're dropping him off at a fellow officer's house for an after part. You say he doesn't text back, doesn't answer you. Fall asleep with your phone in hand. You wake to a hangover and panic by morning. You're retracing steps in a snowstorm, and you find him lying in the yard like a discarded memory. You scream. You call 911. You try CPR. But you know, deep down, it's too late. The state says you hit him with your car. You say you loved him. In that yawning space between those two realities, a trial is born. But let's zoom in on something small, something easy to miss: the broken tail light. It's not just a detail, it becomes the crown jewel of the prosecution's theory. They say it lines up perfectly with the injuries on John's body. The timeline fits. The glass fragments found in the snow match your SUV. It's textbook. They claim it's damning, but the defense says, not so fast. Here's your first quirky little twist. The taillight wasn't broken the night before. Multiple photos taken during your bar trip show the car perfectly intact. And more bizarre, a neighbor claims to have seen two shadowy figures near your car that morning. After you'd already left, they were bending near the back. It was too dark to ID. Then could someone have broken the tail light after the fact, trying to frame you? Even the experts can't agree. One forensic specialist insists the breakage occurred at the moment of impact. Another, in a nearly comical courtroom demonstration, whacks an SUV with a hammer and says, look, breaks the same way. You watch, mouth dry, as science becomes slapstick. This is your life, and it's being reenacted like dinner theater controversy brews, like coffee left too long on the burner. Did Karen Reed intentionally strike John O'Keefe? Did she know she hit him? Or did she drop him off, drive away, and watch her world implode the next morning? The prosecution is aggressive. They claim your SUV struck John with enough force to kill him, then left him exposed to the brutal cold, where hypothermia, internal injuries, and blunt force trauma did the rest. But here's where the plot thickens. You didn't just drive away, you texted, called, worried, you even said, hours before finding him, "Could I have hit him?" Is that a confession or a cry of guilt-soaked panic? Some say your behavior is suspicious, others say it's heartbreak in real-time. Hour charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene. Your mugshot spreads like wildfire, and outside the courthouse, battle lines are drawn, fans waving "Free Karen" signs. Others demanding justice for John. The case becomes a Rorschach test for America's view of guilt. Somewhere amid the snow, the texts, the taillight, and the screaming headlines, you feel your grip on reality slipping. It's not just about proving you didn't do it, it's about proving someone else might have. And worse, realizing that no one seems sure anymore where the truth even lies. You're staring at your phone again. The screen is dim, but the words burn into your retinas like tiny knives. There it is, the text that everyone's seeing by now. John's dead. I could have hit him. You wrote it. You can't take it back. And now, it's Exhibit A in a trial that feels less like justice and more like a reality show scripted by a rogue algorithm. The prosecution says that message proves your guilt. Who says something like that unless they already know the truth? But your defense team counters. It's panic, drunken confusion, guilt-ridden grief. You didn't know, you feared. You loved him, and fear twists logic into monster. Scroll through your digital life. The prosecutors have millions of strangers. Your browser history is dissected on cable news like sacred scripture. Search terms like tail light damage, hypothermia, timelines, how long to die in snow. The prosecutors smirk, the defense cringes, and the public, they retweet with popcorn. But that's just the beginning. YouTube has arrived suddenly. Your trial isn't confined to the courtroom. It's in living rooms, podcasts, Reddit threads, Discord servers, armchair detectives, and charismatic lawyers with ring lights are going viral off your name. They read your texts like Shakespeare. They analyze your body language. They bring in crime scene maps, tail light diagrams, emotional testimonies, and they say what the jury isn't allowed to. She's innocent or she's guilty as hell. Here's your quirky tidbit. A YouTuber named Turtleboy, a local blogger, turned investigative. Whirlwind becomes one of your loudest supporters. He starts posting daily updates, questioning police motives, challenging the timeline, even digging up his own witnesses. He live streams court transcripts, interviews former friends, leaks what the press won't touch. Some hail him as a citizen journalist, others call him reckless, irresponsible, maybe even dangerous. The impact? Massive live streams dissect everything from your parking angle to the tone of your voice in voicemail. Subtly, the court of public opinion has jury duty, and it never recesses you. Begin to lose your identity. You're no longer Karen Reed, former equity analyst, loyal partner, grieving woman. You are Karen Reed. Case file number 2231. Hashtagged and stitched onto TikTok's algorithm doesn't care about nuance. It cares about engagement, and your trending controversy flares when the police are accused, yes, accused of stonewalling. The defense begins suggesting a cover-up. That, Keith never made it inside the house because he was already unconscious. Or worse, already dying. Before your car even left the driveway, they suggest he was beaten inside that house. They whisper names, and those whispers become YouTube shorts with 100,000 views. The cops inside that home, colleagues, friends, now suspects. If only in the minds of the public. One officer, Brian Albert, whose house the party happened at, stays silent through it all. He's never charged, never testifies, never breaks his silence, and the question echoes louder. Why not? Back to the text. There's a chilling one sent just hours after John's death, where you ask a friend, would I remember if I hit him? It's the kind of message that feels radioactive. It doesn't confess, but it trembles with fear. Prosecutors point and say, see? The defense shrugs and says, that's not proof, it's paranoia. Even the judge seems unsure how to guide the jury. Through this thicket of implication, emotion, and digital chaos, we are living in two timelines now: the courtroom, where every moment is measured, formal, tight-lipped; the internet, where everything is fast, emotional, and exploding with theories. And between those two timelines lies the one thing no one can seem to find: the truth. Here is where the real firestorm ignites. A clip goes viral. Your defense attorney grilling a forensic specialist about the glass fragments. Why were they logged 2 days late? He asks the tech stammers. The judge intervenes. Someone in the back row starts coughing uncontrollably. Twitter loses its mind. Red flag. Evidence tampering. The fix is in. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just messy police work. Maybe it's something darker. This trial no longer belongs to the state. It belongs to the people with Wi-Fi and ring lights. And you belong to the feed. You stand at the center of the courtroom, but you're not really there. Not anymore. Or online, forever paused in a frame that everyone has already seen. The image is grainy, pulled from a courthouse live stream. Your lips parted mid-sentence, your eyes wide with disbelief. People freeze that frame and use it like a meme, like a warning, like a prophecy. This is the face of guilt. This is the face of a setup. This is why I don't trust the system. And beneath those captions, comments pile up like autumn leaves soaked in gasoline, waiting for a spark inside the courtroom. Everything feels tight, not tense tight, like the air itself has been vacuum sealed. You watch as the forensic analyst fumbles with diagrams. You listen as the medical examiner uses phrases like blunt impact trauma and possible hypothermia overlay. And then comes a moment that steals the breath from your lungs. A photo of John not smiling, not alive, laid out on a sterile metal table, the snow still fresh in his hair. You grip the edge of the defense table. You don't cry. You can't. The cameras are watching here. Your quirky little twist today. Someone leaks ring camera footage. Blurry 15-second clip from a neighbor's porch across the street from the crime scene. In the darkness, two figures walk near your SUV. One bends. A glint of something reflective. A flashlight? A bottle? A crowbar? The clip is unclear. The internet is not. They're planting the glass. That's a cop. Look at the boots. No way Karen's even there. The footage goes viral in hours. News outlets scramble. The judge issues a gag order. The defense demands it be shown in court. The prosecution claims it's irrelevant. You're not sure what to believe anymore, but the damage is done now. Comes the testimony of Jennifer Maccabee, your former friend, and one of the last people to speak to you the night John died. She's calm, polished, and devastating. Karen asked me, "How long does it take someone to die in the snow?" The gallery gasps. A juror shifts in her seat. The prosecution beams. They love this part, but your attorney stands. And when did she ask that? Around 6 a.m.? And when did she search it? Well, I'm not sure, but someone's sure. Your defense team pulls up phone records showing that Jennifer, not you, searched that exact phrase before the call even happened. Courtroom tilts. The gallery murmurs. Even the judge leans forward. Why would your friend lie? Is she mistaken? Protecting someone? Or is this what betrayal looks like under oath? Open debate time. Who really wrote the timeline of that night? There are conflicting witness statements, surveillance footage with missing timestamps, and a house full of off-duty officers who suddenly don't recall what time everyone arrived or left. Some call it the blue wall of silence. Others say it's coincidence, trauma, foggy memories in a foggy case. But the whispers grow louder. Was John O'Keefe injured before he ever left that house? If so, you didn't kill him, but someone might have, and that someone is either shielded by a badge or by silence. You walk out of the courtroom into a crush of cameras and flashing lights. The media is ravenous. Every sigh, every twitch, every glance becomes a headline. Reed reacts with horror. Tearful Karen may have cracked case. Body language expert breaks down her blinks. You're not human anymore or content, but you aren't the only one unraveling me. Jurors are exhausted reporters, are quietly crying in the hallway. The lead detective is caught smirking during testimony, another moment clipped, slowed down, looped for dramatic effect online, and the judge? He begins issuing warnings to both sides, to the public even. To the media, this isn't a trial anymore. It's a wildfire, and the courtroom is just the dry brush it started in the case. Takes another churny civilian witness. Dog walker says she passed the house that morning and saw nothing in the yard. No body, no blood, no commotion. But the timeline says John should have already been there, already dying. She's confident, she's calm, she's ignored, till YouTube picks her up, clips circulate. The witness they won't show you. Dog walker destroys prosecution's timeline. It's not just about what's being said, it's about who's allowed to say it, and where in the courtroom. She's a footnote on the internet. She's a lightning bolt. It all keeps coming back to one question. Is this justice, or is this theater? Are you on trial for what happened that night, or for how well you can survive the storm that followed? The jury's still out, so is the truth, and somewhere in the cold, static silence of a paused live stream, your face stares back at you. Waiting, you wake up to shouting. Not in the courtroom, not in your home, on your phone again. You shouldn't be looking, but you do. It's like an itch under your skin, the kind you can't ignore. A new video is trending. A retired cop breaks down your trial on YouTube. He has maps, diagrams, enhanced footage. He says he's found a fatal inconsistency in the prosecution's theory. If the car hit John here, the blood pattern should have looked like this. He draws a line on the screen with red ink. Your name is in the thumbnail, your face in the corner. 324,000 views in 3 days. Click the comments, always a mistake. She's innocent, I'm a cop, and I see it clear as day. Nah, guilty. Too much damage to that taillight. How is this still going on? What a circus. Hashtag justice for Karen. She did it. She knows she did it. And then, I used to believe her, but something about that friend's testimony, something stinks. In court today, it's quiet, too quiet. The jury is visibly drained. Your lawyer's voice sounds hoarse. The prosecutor, once so commanding, now fumbles with his notes. You feel it. The fatigue, the burn of too many theories, too many voices, too much static. In the signal here, not the only one fraying. Then the moment hits, the prosecution unveils its smoking gun. Fragments of red tail light found near John's body. They claim it's the proof that your car struck him, that no other theory fits the shape, the angle, the damage. But your team comes armed to a physicist, yes. A physicist takes the stand, talks about Engel's force, the time temperature decay of frozen blood in suburban Massachusetts. The jury's eyes glaze over. But YouTube? YouTube loves. It clips hit TikTok. Physicist shreds prosecution. Glasses and ice. The trial's turning point. How snow saved the truth. Even CNN runs a segment, and yet it still feels fragile. Here's your quirky tidbit. A group of Reddit users begins geomapping every piece of testimony, surveillance timestamp, and social media post. They create a full timeline on Google Earth, complete with color-coded pins, speculation layers, and a 3D recreation of the alleged collision. They call themselves the O'Keefe Project. Within days, they gain more followers than some local news stations. One member even flies to Canton to measure the exact elevation of the snowbank. They publish a theory. John was never hit by the SUV. He fell near the curb and was later moved. You don't know whether to laugh or cry. The judge grows visibly irritated. Now he threatens to hold a popular YouTube personality in contempt for live streaming footage from inside the courthouse outside. Protesters gather, some wear free Karen shirts. Others hold up signs saying, hashtag justice for John. One guy sells popcorn on the sidewalk. You notice him every morning. You hate that you notice. Then a bombshell. Your defense attorney accuses the local PD of burying a key text message from one of John's friends. Allegedly mentioned a fight earlier that night. Something about a dispute over loyalty over secrets. The prosecution scrambles. The judge calls a sidebar. The gallery murmurs. The message is ruled inadmissible hearsay. But everyone's already heard it. You watch a juror wipe away a tear. You wonder if it's for John or for you, or for the weight of not knowing. Now the trial turns. Theatrical witnesses are called back. Evidence is re-examined. Cross-examinations become more aggressive, sharper, darker. Your attorney gets snapped at for badgering. The prosecutor loses his temper mid-rebuttal and slams his files shut. Judge calls for a recess. Twitter has a field day. We've entered Act 3 of this circus. Plot twisting coming. This is better than Netflix. You sit silently, palms sweating, mouth dry, your own life reduced to a comment thread. Then a reporter from the Boston Globe tweets something that makes your stomach flip. Unofficial courthouse whisper. Jurors are starting to split. Hung jury not off the table. It spreads like wildfire. You feel the temperature in the courtroom shift suddenly. The possibility emerges. Not guilt, not innocence, but limbo. No verdict, no peace, just more waiting. The next morning, you pass the same protesters. One of them locks eyes with you and mutters, "Hope you burn." You look away. The guy selling popcorn? He waves you. Don't wave back. You just walk into the courthouse, where your name is still Karen Raid, but your story is no longer yours. It belongs to the narrative now, to the clicks, the edits, to the looping footage. Everyone's watching still. You step into the courtroom for what everyone whispers might be the final act. The air feels heavier, like the weight of every gaze, every whispered theory presses down on your shoulders. The jury looks tired, almost haunted. You know some of them have been following the online debates as obsessively as you have, scrolling through heated forums, dissecting every frame of video, parsing every word spoken under oath. The judge calls the court to order, his voice firm but weary. It's time for closing arguments, the last chance to sway the fate hanging over you. Your defense attorney rises. With calm determination, he paints a picture not of innocence, but of reasonable doubt. The fractured timeline, the conflicting witness testimonies, the glaring gaps in evidence. He reminds the courtroom that justice is not about popular opinion or viral videos, but about truth, the kind that must be proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. You catch his eye briefly. You see a flicker of hope. The prosecutor, relentless as ever, stands. His words are sharp, cutting through the silence like a knife. He recounts every painful detail, every motive, every shattered promise. He paints you as the architect of tragedy, the one who chose fury over mercy. The gallery shifts uncomfortably. You glance at the jurors. Some lean forward. Others sit rigidly, eyes fixed on the speakers as if hoping to divine the verdict in the inflections outside. The world explodes. Hashtags trend, comments flood in guilty battles. Innocent in a digital coliseum. Your name is typed thousands of times a minute, debated, condemned, defended, deified. It's no longer just a trial. It's a cultural flashpoint in the quiet that follows. The jury withdraws. Hours stretch into an eternity. You sit frozen, barely breathing. Every tick of the clock, a drumbeat to your heart. When the jury finally files back in, the foreperson stands, voice steady, but solemn. The verdict? Hung jury. No consensus, no closure. The courtroom gasps. Whispers swell. The judge declares a mistrial. You feel the bitter sting of unresolved judgment, the exhaustion of a battle that isn't over outside. The crowd fractures into cheers and boos. The Karen Reed trial becomes a symbol of a justice system stretched thin by public opinion, of truth lost in a sea of noise. Your story, once personal and raw, now belongs to the internet forever. You're a name, a face, a debate, but beneath the headlines, beyond the hashtags, You remain a person trapped in a whirlwind that no viral video can ever calm. So you waiting for the next trial, the next twist, while the world keeps watching wind down. Cold light of dawn breaks through your window, the noise of the trial, the fury of the online mobs, the unending debate, they begin to fade like distant thunder. You find a fragile calm in the quiet moments between the storms. Justice, it seems, is not a single moment, but a long journey full of shadows, questions, and the stubborn hope that truth, eventually, will shine through the cracks tonight. You breathe, you rest tomorrow. The story continues. But for now, the courtroom is silent, the camera's off, and you can finally close your eyes. Asterisk, if you found this story gripping. Take a moment to like the video and subscribe to Evidence Files, where we unravel the mysteries you won't find anywhere else. Your support helps keep these stories alive, and trust me, there are plenty more twists ahead. And hey, drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from and what time it is, because every corner of this world holds a secret waiting to be uncovered. Thanks for being part of this journey. Now, let's dive into the next case soon.